Hello everyone. So welcome back to my channel, that is Plant Pathology Universe. So I'm back with my new YouTube video. Or I know I'm a bit late, but since I'm engaged with other things, so it got late. So we'll start first. So the topic is about architects of plant pathology, right? So here we are basically talking about the main personalities, or you can say the major scientists that have a role to play in evolving or making people aware about the field of plant pathology, right? So here we are going to discuss about, you can say, around 10 renowned personalities in the field of plant pathology. If we have to go back to the history of plant pathology, it is a long concept, but here we are going to discuss about only the few of the personalities. Okay, so we'll start with the first one. So first we have is Matthew Tillett, right? So if you look at Matthew Tillett, basically Matthew Tillett, he is regarded as the great grandfather of phytopathology, right? So great grandfather means he was the one who has significant contributions in the field of plant pathology. Okay, so remember, here you can see this is the picture of Matthew Tillett. He worked on the bunt disease of wheat, right? So as we have discussed the diseases of wheat, so we have discussed the three important ones, that is the rust, bunt and the smut. So he basically worked on the bunt disease of the wheat, and he thereby stated that it is a contagious disease. Contagious disease means a infectious disease that is spread from a infected a plant to a healthy plant. Okay, and he also stated that if we use a solution of lime and water in the bunted seeds, their number, the diseased seeds, will be less, right? So here basically he has given an insight about the management of your bunt seed by using the salt and lime. So lime, that is being then used in further other formulations to will act as a plant disease management carrying compound. Okay, so that is about Matthew Tillett. The next we have is Benedict Prevost, another significant contributor in the field of plant pathology, that is Benedict Prevost. Why he's so much significant, or why he's a renowned one? Because he basically proved that the diseases, they are being caused by microorganisms. Earlier, as you all know, that there is a theory of spontaneous generation that states that the diseases, they will occur on their own, but it was the belief of Benedict Prevost who firstly stated that the diseases, they are not spontaneous in origin, but they are being caused by the particular germs, or basically the microorganisms, right? So all the findings that he has carried out based upon his work on the bunt of wheat, he basically wrote a paper, which is the very important one. It has been asked in many of the examinations. So what was the paper? So the name of that paper, or particular findings of Benedict Prevost, were basically collected in a paper that is known as Memoir on the Immediate Cause of Bunt or Smut of Wheat, right? And he also proved that bunt of the wheat, that is caused by a fungus which is known as Tilletia caries. And he also showed, and he also reported the role of copper sulfate as a disease management solution. Copper sulfate that we are using even nowadays in different formulations, be it your burgundy mixture, chestnut compound and others. Basically it was Benedict Prevost who showed that the copper sulfate solution basically prevented the germination of your bunt spores. Okay, next scientist that we have is CH pursues, right? So as we know that any individual, it has a different name, right? It has a particular scientific name. Like for humans it is Homo sapiens, so that concept of terminology was given by Carolus Linnaeus. Similar work was carried out by CH Pursoon in terms of plant pathology, and that is the naming of the fungi. Particularly initially he has worked upon the mushrooms, because you know that the word mycology is derived from mushrooms, right? Initially it was thought that the study of fungi means the study of mushrooms, right? So basically he is regarded as the founding father of systematic mycology. Systematic mycology means naming of the fungi systematically, right? He is also known as the founding father of modern taxonomy of mushrooms, that has already discussed that initially he taxonomically named the mushrooms, then it moved towards the fungi, right? And he basically classified the mushrooms based upon their colors, based upon their arrangements of hymenophore, etc. Hymenophore means a particular branch that will consist of a hymen. Phore basically means branch, and hymenophore means any branch that will consist a hymen, and hymen is nothing but a layer in a basidiocarp, and the basidiocarp will basically forms a mushroom fruiting body, right? So main systematic work has initiated by your ch Pursuant, and he also published a synopsis, which is a very important one, known as Synopsis Methodica Fungorum, that too in 1801, which is regarded as the chief starting point for the nomenclature of fungi. From here onwards, the nomenclature of fungi have evolved, right? And he also gave the name to rust pathogen of wheat as Puccinia graminis. Okay, so that name, Tilicia caries for bunt, that was given by your Prevost, and the name Puccinia graminis for the rust, that was given by Pursuance. Okay, so this you can remember. The next we have is myceli. Now all we know that mycology is the study of fungi, right? So that fungi spores, and that spores of the fungus, they were firstly studied by him, right? So P.M. Myceli, he is regarded as the father of mycology, and there is a classic book of him which I have seen in every competitive exams. Generally this question has been asked, that is, what was the classic book of P.M. Myceli? So that is Pier Antonio Myceli. So the name of the book was Nova Plantarum Genera, that he basically wrote in 1729, right? He was the first person who saw the spores of fungus, that too on a watermelon slice. He basically described about 900 species of fungi, proved that the diseases is caused by spores, right? So basically he's a renowned person who has started this field of mycology, and that is why he's regarded as the father of mycology. Always remember who is the founding father, always remember who is the father of systematic taxonomy, father of phytobacteriology, father of mycology, because these are the most commonly asked questions, and these are the questions of most importance. Okay, so that is about P.A. Myceli. Now, the father of plant pathology, the person who has established experimentally the role of any microorganism in causing the disease. The name is Henrik Anton Dewberry. Always remember this name. Anton Dewberry, the most significant and the most important personality in plant pathology, right? Why? Because first thing that he did was he disapproved the spontaneous generation theory, and he experimentally proved that the late blight of potato, which basically causes the Irish famine in 1845, that was caused by a causative agent, which is nothing but a fungus known as Phytophthora infestans, right? So it earlier, the Phytophthora infestans was named differently, that is, I think, Botrytis infestans, but it was your Dewberry who gave this name as Phytophthora infestans, because Phytophthora means plant destroyer. Okay, so he also wrote a very important books, which are the most important ones. First was Morphology and Physiology, Please, Flankton and Mixomycetin in 1866. Then the second edition of his book came in 1884, which was later translated into English by your Garsney and Balfour, that too in 1887, and the name of book then after its translation into English turned out as Comparative Morphology and Biology of fungi, mycetozoa, and bacteria. Okay, so first what he did was he experimentally proved Phytophthora infestans as the causal organism for late blight of potato, which causes this Irish famine in 1845, right? Then he also disapproved the spontaneous generation theory. There are two important books that are written by him: the role of enzymes, the role of hormones, the role of oxalic acid, the terms like symbiosis, heterosism, alternate host, Hostorium, Telutospores, Autoceous, Heterocious, they all are being differentiated or described by him, right? So here you can see heterosism and autoscism. Autoscism means when the rust, it is confined to a one host only, that is the primary host. Heterosism means when the rust will require two different hosts, primary host and the alternate host, to complete its life cycle, right? Symbiosis, everybody understand, that is a kind of a symbiotic or a mutualistic relationship between a fungi and a higher plant. Okay. Similarly, role of oxalic acid, that in sclerotinia sclerotium causing diseases in carrots, that is, he also established that the fungus or the pathogens, they basically produce the enzymes and certain kind of toxins that helps them in invading inside the host tissues. ठीक है. Now the next is that he basically, not only he is regarded as the father of plant pathology because of its contributions, but he also trained certain individuals which has a significant contribution in the field of plant pathology. So basically he trained his 5 students. First was ms Voronin, he's from Russia. Then Oscar Brifield from Germany. PMA Millardet, who is from France. HM Ward, who is from England. FG Farlow, who is from USA. And Alfred Fischer, who is from Switzerland, right? So these are his students, and they have a significant contribution in every country where they are being deployed to, and they basically spread that the concept of plant pathology in these different countries, and they made significant contributions to the field of plant pathology. Okay. Now, as we have discussed Anton de Berry, who is the father of plant pathology, now we are talking about the father of plant pathology in India. That is, in Indian context, the person who has initiated the studies on fungi or the studies on plant pathology in India, that is E.J. Butler. So the full name of E.J. Butler was Edwin John Butler. He was the first imperial mycologist in India who is appointed and who came to India in 1906, and he is fondly regarded as the father of Indian plant pathology. He was the one who has established this field in India and has extensive role in playing popularization of basically of plant pathology in India. And the basing milestones, or you can say the foundation stone, was being laid by him. He discovered the first viral disease of India, from India, that is known, particularly the plant viral disease that is known as sugarcane mosaic virus disease. And he worked upon the aquatic phycomycetes, different diseases of palms, wilts of pigeon pea, wheat rust, downy mildew. Basically categorizes 150 species of plant pathogenic fungi. Now the 2 books of his, one is Fungi and Diseases in Plants, the most important one, which was published in 1918, and another book he wrote with S.G. Jones in 1952, that is Plant Pathology. Okay. Then in 1921 he moved out of India as he became the director of Imperial Bureau of Mycology, which was there at Kew, England, which was later and now presently it is known as CABI, that is your Commonwealth Agriculture Bureau International, right? So this is the contribution of E.J. Butler. The next we have is PMA Millardet. So as we have already discussed, PMA Millardet, he is the student of Anton de Berry. He is from France basically. And what is the most important contribution of PMA Millardet was the discovery of Bordeaux mixture. And you will be surprised to know that the Bordeaux mixture was discovered accidentally, right? And he discovered basically the Bordeaux mixture. Bordeaux mixture is nothing but it is a combination of copper sulfate, lime and water in the different proportions that can be applied as a paste in preventing or managing the downy mildew of grapes, that is known as Plasmopara viticola, right? And the original composition of Bordeaux mixture that was developed by PMA Millardet was 5:5:50, that is found 5 pounds of your copper sulfate and lime each in 50 gallons of water. That was the initial composition that was given by him. Later it has been modified, and based upon whether you are making the paste or the paint, it can be altered. And why this particular paste or paint is known as Bordeaux mixture? Because it was named after a university of France which is known as Bordeaux, which was founded in 1441. And this particular solution, it has been in used till now as a both antifungal as well as your antibacterial paste, because it has both the properties, right? And it is an accidental discovery. Basically what happened, that he has been at the time during this time when this discovery has been made, basically in France grapevines were there, right? So they are mostly infected by the downy mildew of grapes pathogen, that is Plasmopara viticola. At one time he was moving to a particular vineyard, and he saw that that the grower of particular vineyard, he has sprayed the lime over his vines so as to demarcate them or to prevent them from any kind of robbery, right? So that's why he has put that lime over them. So he basically observed, PMA Miladet observed that those vines which are covered with that lime, they're having a very less damage as compared to the other vines, right? So this idea he got from them, from that incident, and thereby he developed this Bordeaux mixture, right? So that is your PMA Miladet. Next we have is J.E. Planck, a very significant contributor to the field of plant pathology, who is known as father of epidemiology. Now, what is epidemiology? If we go by its literal meaning, epidemiology means the study of epidemics. Study of epidemics means the study of disease in relation to your time and space, or in relation to your environmental conditions. Okay, and he's regarded as the father of epidemiology. He basically gave the concept of vertical and horizontal resistance. Resistance, we all understand, the ability of any plant to resist the damage of the pathogen, that is resistance. Now it can be vertical, it can be horizontal. Horizontal means when that particular resistance is same for different species, then it is horizontal. Vertical means when it is significant for one, lesser for other, and so on. When there is a differentiation in resistance in two or more than two species, then it is vertical. Otherwise, if it is similar, then it is horizontal, right? He also gave one effect, which is a very most commonly asked question, that is the vertifolia effect. Why the name is vertifolia effect? Because it was firstly, for the first time, identified in the vertifolia variety of German potato. And vertifolia effect means loss of horizontal resistance if we are continuously breeding for vertical resistance, right? So the two famous books of J.E. Planck are Plant Diseases, Epidemics and Control, that he wrote in 1963, and the second one was Disease Resistance in Plants, that he wrote in 1968. Okay, so that is J.E. Planck. Next, now we have all discussed about the mycology, the significant contributors in mycology. Now we have moved to E.F. Smith, Irwin Frank Smith, right? E.J. Butler was Edwin John Butler. E.F. Smith was Irwin Frank Smith. He is regarded as the father of phytobacteriology. Why he is regarded as the father of phytobacteriology? Because basically he was the one who gave the final proof experimentally that bacteria, it could cause the disease. And the first bacterium that was found to be associated with the disease was a crown gall bacterium in apple, that is your Agrobacterium tumefaciens, and he gave a proof of that, and that is why he's regarded as the father of phytobacteriology. There is a particular genera of bacteria which is known as Irvinia, that was named after him, Irwin. He is also regarded as the father of ecology, because he also sorry, he's not regarded as the father of ecology, my mistake. He is regarded as the father of phytobacteriology only, and he has worked extensively on the bacterial wilt of cucurbits, crown gall. He also wrote a very important book, that is the Bacteria in Relation to Plant Diseases, in 1905. So that is E.F. Smith. Next we have is W.M. Bejernik, who is regarded as father of plant virology. He is regarded also as father of microbial ecology, because he firstly coined the term virus. He gave the concept of contagium vivium fluidium, that is contagious living fluid, that was in relation to your tobacco mosaic virus, right? And he thereby described and gave the term virus, right? He also worked upon some ecologically important bacteria like your Clostridium beijeriniki, which was named after him. That is why he's regarded as father of microbial ecology as well as father of your virology. Okay, the last and the not the least, K.C. Mehta. As we all know that the stem rust, it is the most important disease of the world, or in Indian context also this is the most important. So it is K.C. Mehta, whose full name was Karamchand Mehta, who basically studied on this particular stem rust in India, and all the knowledge that we have about stem rust in India, that was being initiated by him, right? So because of his contribution to the field, he is regarded as the father of Indian stem rust. He again published two important monographs, that is the further studies on cereal rust in India, that was the part 1 in 1940 and the second part 2 in 1952. He also established three laboratories for rust research in India, which are in existence till now. One was in Shimla, one was in Agra, and one was in Almora, that is Uttarakhand. He also discovered the life cycle of stem rust in India, and he also reported that the barberry will act as an alternate host of stem rust pathogen. However, in India, barberry has no role to play, as in India, the spores of the stem rust, that is the teliospores, they generally survives in other wild host, not on the barberry. But in general, you can say that barberry will act as an alternate host for the stem rust pathogen, and that discovery was made by K.C. Mehta. Okay, so this is all about the major contributors in the field of plant pathology. Maximum questions are basically asked from these regarding their books, regarding their role, like who is the father, what is his role. So you can go through them, and there are some other contributors as well, which we will try to discuss in some other presentation. So keep supporting, please like, subscribe and share to my channel. And also I'm going to tell you guys that the next video, it will be about spiroplasmas and phytoplasmas. And also I request you that if you have any particular topic that you want to discuss, or you want me to make a video on that particular topic so that it becomes easy for you to understand, kindly message, like, subscribe, share, please support, and thank you very much.